Football, the unyielding card master strikes back. Episode 121 still has to be my brother Ning, so that the referee has a noble identity. The score has not yet begun, but the players from both teams are in very good form. From the starting lineup of the Argentine team today, it is enough to see that they are bound to win this game. At the same time, it also shows the difficulty of the Mexico team from the side. First of all, although the overall strength of the Mexico team is not as good as the Argentine team, the difference in value is also huge. But one thing is certain, the strength of the Mexico team is definitely not weak. They are also among the best in North and Central America. The Mexico team has always had some jokes circulating on the internet to describe them. For example, you can fight with a fish and swing with a feather version. From here, it can be seen that the Mexico team is not easy to deal with. Another important point, that is, from 1994 to the last World Cup in 2018, the Mexico team has reached the top 16 for 7 consecutive times, but it is also in the round of 16. It's a bit of a fantasy. Things happen 7 times in a row. Somewhat coincidentally, who dares to say that such a thing is not weird? But what's even weirder is that from 1994 to 2018, they never got a better result than the round of 16. Therefore, the fans often take the surname of the Mexico team on the internet. The group stage can't die, the knockout round is 18 rounds. Top 16 Mad Devils, you can always believe that they can enter the round of 16. Although this is a joke of some fans, it is also very telling. If nothing else, but at least 7 consecutive World Cups, the Mexico team can successfully qualify in the group stage. So many fans today also want to believe that the Mexico team can beat the Argentine team in a shock, because other things can be ignored, but metaphysics is such a thing. Sometimes disobedient and not from the 26-man roster announced by the Mexico team this time. In fact, most of them. The players all play in Mexico's home league. But there is also no shortage of excellent players who can play a role in the 5 major leagues. Center, Jimenez, one of the core of the team's attack, with excellent physical fitness and awareness in front of goal, while the technique under the feet also has the spirituality unique to American players. Goalkeeper, Ochoa, it's be 7 years old this year. He is the patron saint of Mexico, who rose to prominence in the last World Cup and has a brilliant record of 7 clean sheets in this qualifier. Left winger, Lozano. First-class assist awareness, superb individual foot skills, and excellent scoring ability. However, there is a big problem in the lineup of the Mexico team. That's when there is a gap between old and new players. The average age of the players participating in this year's Mexico team is not young. The older generation of stars is still playing on the field, but the new generation of players has a serious disconnection. This also means that the overall age of Mexico's players is older, and physical exertion will definitely be their biggest problem. And when the old players are tired, there are few young players who can take their place. Therefore, the physical consumption of the Mexico team will also be the opportunity for the Argentine team in today's game, and the sharp spear of Argentine will be hard steel ink in the face. Zigo's iron barrel array. In the end, the game will tell us the answer. Soon, the players from both sides were singing the national anthem and shaking hands. Beep. How? Jiang Ning's continuous game enforcement has made many stars have a deep impression on him. I even know that this referee from Huaxia is not easy to mess with, and must give special respect. In the handshake link, no matter how much the player is worth, he will squeeze out a smile when shaking hands with Jiang Ning. But when shaking hands with the linesman, the attitude is very flat, somewhat differentiated. Ha ha ha, everyone looks at this handshake link. It's simply a face-changing scene. The smiles of these players are so fake, the acting skills are average, and some of them laugh more ugly than crying. Do they dare not smile if they dare to look down on Jiang Ning, or give you cards directly with a perfunctory handshake? It has to be my brother Ning, so that the referee has a noble identity. How can other referees have this treatment? The scene of the handshake session was captured by the camera, and after the Huaxia fans who watched the World Cup saw it, they simply raised their eyebrows. The Huaxia football team is known as the worst team, and Huaxia football is also looked down upon by the world. But Jiang Ning's World Cup trip made the world impress Huaxia. It also changed that many players on the court did not respect the referee, and Jiang Ning became the most domineering referee on the court, and there was no one. Jiang Ning checked the time with the assistant referee, then raised his hand high and blew the whistle for the start of the game. This battle of life and death has officially begun. At this time, after the split, the Argentine team will be the first to kick off. Shout! Lautaro Martin of the Argentine team kicked off first. Football is at the feet of the Argentine midfielders. But before this player could pass the ball, the players of the Mexico team had already rushed up and pressed closely, and the momentum of the players of the Mexico team is very fierce, and the action is not small. Almost seconds after Jiang Ning blew the whistle, he knocked the players of the Argentine team to the ground. Beep. Jiang Ning whistled, his eyes a little cold. This himself is still standing in front of him. The other party dares to make such a big move? Although the Mexico player touched the ball first when he got out of his foot, it was obviously also a temptation and provocation to the referee. Come here, After Jiang Ning sounded the whistle, he should immediately reprimand this player. This player walked up to Jiang Ning and spread out his hands with an innocent face. He said that he was just pressing and that some body collisions were normal, but Jiang Ning wouldn't eat his set. Jiang Ning said coldly, "Don't try to test my bottom line. This is my first warning to you, and at the same time my last." After that, Jiang Ning motioned to the midfielder of agenting and asked him to continue the kickoff game. In fact, the reason why Jiang Ning was just warning was because this foul action just now was not enough to eat cards. One was that he was the first to touch the football, and the other was because the Argentine team was not in attack at this time. Therefore, even if such a foul is repeated, the general referee will not pull out the card, but Jiang Ning is different. He has a very clear standard of punishment in his heart. If the Mexico players are still like this after being warned, Jiang Ning will not hesitate to send them cards. Beep. The game continues. The Argentine players continued to hold the ball and soon passed the ball to the opposing half. And the players of the Mexico team did not show weakness, and still stepped forward to press closely. It's just that after Jiang Ning's warning, their movements were much smaller, and they didn't easily trip the Argentine team players anymore. But despite this, the Mexico team still showed super fighting spirit, and Shangji was using physical confrontation to suppress the offensive rhythm of the Argentine team. As soon as this game began, it turned into a brutal positional battle. The Argentine team has always wanted to break through to 450 and get the opportunity to attack, but the Mexico team is frantically blocking in the most physically demanding way. I have to say that the Messi team's help is really admirable. But this is also extremely dangerous for the Mexico team, because the work of the Argentine team players is not weak. Even if it is a close pressing, it may not be able to take the ball, and a large number of people to press up to force and grab will definitely make the defense line have holes. In addition, another fatal point of such crazy pressing is the consumption of physical strength. So the intentions of the Mexico team are obvious. They have to grab the ball in the shortest possible time, then score and take the lead. After that, they can rely on the iron defense to hold on to this victory. Wow. At this time, the on-site ball rice also exclaimed. If nothing else, just for the desperate posture of the Mexico team, it is enough for them to applaud. Also because of the high-pressure tactics of the Mexico team, the game was played in the 7th minute at this time, and the Argentine team still failed to send the football to the opponent's penalty area. The battle situation is cruel, and at the same time, he is very anxious. Even the fans on both sides breathed a sigh of relief and scolding. Team Mexico is good. Just use this method to suppress them to death. Fight back. After snatching the ball, he immediately attacked quickly. Jimenez was waiting in front of him to score. Don't let Messi take the ball, just watch Messi and win half of the game. Damn it. The Mexico people play so dirty. Give the ball to Messi. What are you doing here? My God, what is Messi doing? Why is he walking so leisurely? Episode 122. Jiang Ning frowned, feeling that there was something wrong with the atmosphere at the scene. Subscription please, custom request, please. The game continues. The Mexico team has always used this kind of tactic similar to the Mad Dog flow, and they are frantically pressing. It is also because of this reckless and physically exerting struggle that the battle on the field has fallen into anxiety, and the Argentine team was indeed interrupted to attack, and even the mood of the players began to become a little cranky. No way, the Argentine team is also anxious. They also want to win and want to score. This is a crucial match that will determine the ticket battle for the round of 16. But the other party's crazy fighting tactics make it very difficult for them to advance to the restricted area. And the Argentine team is still playing this style of ground penetration, because the overall height of the Argentine team does not have an advantage. The whole team has always passed the football through the ground. If you change to high-altitude passing, the possibility of conceding the ball is even greater. This is exactly the heart of the Mexico team. Gradually, the mood of the Argentine players also became a little presumptuous. As soon as you get the ball, the other party will be like a cowhide candy, and they will rush up to fight with you and grab you. Anyone will have a temper. Therefore, the smell of gunpowder on the scene is getting stronger and stronger. Jiang Ning frowned. As the main referee, he already felt that there was something wrong with the atmosphere on the scene, and the most leisurely person in the game should belong to the king of the ball, Messi. He turned out to be a walk. Yes, just for a walk. Like the steps of an old man in Huaxia, he walked unhurriedly and watched. It's like being an outsider, completely out of place with the rest of the players in the green field. And as he staggers around, no matter where he moves, there are always 2 or 3 Mexico players with him. You know, this is still when Messi did not palm the ball. Take a walk and get fit. This kind of treatment is also too difficult. It also led to the fact that the players of the Argentine team did not dare to give the ball to Messi at all. Shout. At this time, the Argentine team knocked the football back again, to no avail. The football is back at the feet of the Argentinian midfielders and continues to make some adjustments in the midfield and wait for the opportunity. However, at this time, the King Messi suddenly moved. He had been walking, but suddenly turned around and ran. No one cares about this sudden movement. After all, who cares about a walking uncle? This is asking for the ball. King Messi finally took the initiative to ask for the ball. And with Messi's running, the entire Mexico team's forward line has changed. The opponent reacted quickly, and it was definitely not right to see Messi suddenly running. First of all, the two forwards who were closely watching Messi immediately ran up. This makes a gap in the forward line of the Mexico team, so a striker on the right was very keen to fill in the position. In this way, even if Messi gets the ball, he will first face the pocket of two defenders and the interception in the middle. Even if he breaks through this layer, it doesn't matter. There is a whole back line waiting for him behind. It can be said that the Mexico team has studied Messi thoroughly and has also arranged very targeted tactics for this king of balls. But the accident happened at this time. De Paul of the Argentine team held the ball, and when he saw Messi turn around and run to ask for the ball, he raised his foot. But De Paul is also extremely clever. He spotted the Mexico team's forward running change. Because of Messi's run, there was a gap on their right wing. Faced with such a situation, how could De Paul still give the ball to Messi? Shout. I saw De Paul change from kicking to pushing. Push the ball to the right wing. Immediately afterwards, the player who received on the right wing directly kicked a long pass, and this gap infiltrated the football into the bottom line of the right side of the Mexico team. Positional penetration play, the typical style of play of the Argentine team. Because Messi's one turned around to ask for the ball, it made the front line of the Mexico team who has been close to the defense of the Mexico team have a loophole. The Argentine team finally took advantage of this opportunity to tear the first layer of defense of the Mexico team. And all this is because of a sudden movement of Messi, created by the King Messi. This is the excellent embodiment of the consciousness of a generation of heavenly heroes. What? Damn it. At this time, the players of the Mexico team reacted. Their front was pierced. The goal is in jeopardy. Messi touched his beard, grinned, and extended his thumb to De Paul. And after doing this action, Messi also suddenly turned around and rushed to the goal. He started too fast, he was too sudden. Running on both legs is like a round. 1 second it's still a leisurely walk, the next it's a thunderous rush. As soon as he found an opportunity, he burst out instantly. Boom! Lautaro Martin of the Argentine team rushed to the bottom line on the right wing. Immediately after, forced cross, the football bang cut an arc horizontally, like a machete cutting. And at this time, Messi, who came forward, has also arrived in front of the goal with excellent speed and strong physical fitness. He opened his hands, and the two defending players who were chasing after him were so hard and bullish that they were suppressed behind him. The football road, Messi forced out the foot to push. Outflanking in front of the goal. Boom! Messi touched the football on tiptoe. The football rushed to the goal. Hope to score. Thump. At this time, Ochoa, the door god of the Mexico team, cast a brave save. At the moment when the football is about to get into the ball, it is forcibly smashed out. In the end, the football was ended by the Mexico players, destroying the sideline. The Argentine team's ground infiltration attack this time, although very threatening, ended in failure. Wow! The audience was in an uproar. Ha ha ha, is this a superstar? I almost didn't recognize Uncle May. This money is so easy to earn. Others are running desperately in the green field. Uncle May seems to be full of food and walking. But that's it, there are also 3 people staring at him, giving the superstar enough face. Could this be a set of tactics to deliberately make the enemy let his guard down? It's a pity, such a good opportunity was wasted. With the defeat of this goal, there was inevitably some disappointment in the audience. Especially the fans of the Argentine team showed a pity look. But Messi's performance in this World Cup really attracted the attention of many spectators. Other players are running, only he is walking. At this time, the first half has been going on for nearly 10 minutes. But in these 10 minutes, the two sides only had such a shot. This is a bit difficult for Argentini fans, who are expecting the Pampas Eagles to fly. 10 years, live order. Want to win with such efficiency? Is the Argentine team really going to roll up and leave today? For a while, the fans' mood also became extremely low. At this time, in the Huasha studio, Sudong, oops. It's a pity, I almost got in. Sudong, Messi's outflanking in front of the door is actually not bad. Sudong, hey. Still missed, Ochoa's save was too timely. Fanzi, yes. On the Mexico team's side, the most famous person in the team should be this door god Ochoa. Fanzi. In the last World Cup, Ochoa showed great courage, gained a large number of fans, and his value also skyrocketed. Fanzi. And Ochoa is now 37 years old, Messi is 35 years old. These two people are also the leaders of both sides, the signature players of both sides. Fanzi, 1 attack and 1 defense. It depends on whether Messi's spear is sharper or Ochoa's shield is stronger. Sudong, yes, just now we actually saw that this time the Argentine team's offensive opportunity was created because of a run by Messi. Sudong, ha ha ha, don't look at our king. Messi has been walking, but as soon as he runs, he creates opportunities for the team. Fanzi, actually, this can't blame him for only taking a walk. It's not that he doesn't want to run, if he can't run. Fanzi, we can see that even if Messi is walking, there are always players from the Mexico team behind him. Fanzi, so it makes no sense for Messi to run. Even if he holds the ball, he will be caught by the opponent, and it is difficult to attack effectively. Sudong, understood, so Messi's run just now was purposeful. Sudong, he actually didn't want to take the ball at all. he just wanted to pull the forward line of the Mexico team and attract firepower. Fans yes, don't see that he has been walking. In fact, he is very shrewd. Fans in fact, there is another point, that is, Mexico is one of the organizers of the next World Cup. Fans I don't know if the Argentine team will give each other a little face, and there are some worries about hunger. Sudong, haha, I don't think it will be in a high probability. After all, this is Guanping's life and death. Episode 123 is 2 cards in an instant. This referee really doesn't give any face. At this time, in the Huaxiao live broadcast room, the barrage is being sent intensively. Messi 666. Take a walk and break through the Mexico team's defense. It's a pity that I didn't score. Messi, come on. Argentine team, come on. The Mexico team cares a little too much about Messi, and the other players in the Argentine team also have a strong scoring ability. It's been 10 minutes. My card addiction has been committed again. I really want to see Brother Ning give cards. Just this. Don't panic. Wait until the 2 sides have a ball first. Then it is estimated that it will be the peak period of the card. Team Mexico is about to eat cards. Such a fight with the consumption of physical strength. It is difficult to maintain the norm of the action. Small actions are coming soon. Brother Ning, can Messi also give a card when walking on the court? Let's just say that he has a bad attitude to the game. Isn't this proper paddling? Upstairs is crazy again, although paddling is a bit immoral, but when he moves, it will be a big problem. People watching the live broadcast through the screen are also very excited. Messi has a high popularity and is also a superstar who has entered the World Cup for many years, but this performance made many people laugh. Others scramble desperately. He strolls the stadium like a nobody. At this time, on the green field, the game continues. After the Argentine team threw the ball out of bounds, they did not find a better attacking opportunity, and finally the ball was snatched by the Mexico players. Messi is still taking a slow walk. It's not that he doesn't want to run, but it's clear from his experience that there is no point in running at this time. Instead of running aimlessly, save your physical strength and use it when it matters most. Don't move like a mountain, move like a thunderstorm. What he needs is opportunity, and as soon as there is a good time, he will immediately launch an offensive one. At this time, after the Mexico team got the ball, it seemed very eager. Their goal is to grab the ball as quickly as possible and then score as quickly as possible, so the Mexico team is fast and has a firepower in the front. Very adequate. It's an adventure, but again, it's also a fight. Boom, the Mexico midfielders pushed forward and sent the football out. Soon football was at the feet of Jimenez of the Mexico team. Jimenez immediately broke through with the ball. His attack is fierce, and he rushes fiercely with the ball. Almost without hesitation, he increased his speed, and he had a posture of rampage with physical advantages. And at this time, the Argentine team defenders also ran up, facing the hard steel with Jimenez, and no one let anyone. Jimenez's eyes were fierce, the speed under his feet was a little faster, and at the moment of fighting with the other party, there was a slight change of direction under his feet. At the same time, he also stretched out his hand to try to keep his opponent out. But what he didn't consider was that he was rushing forward so fast at this time, and how much force was rushing from his arm. Shoot one by one. Sure enough, the Argentine defender was hit by his arm and was directly knocked to the ground. But that's not the end of it. The Argentine players are also persistent. Even if he falls, he doesn't forget to stretch out his foot to intercept Jimenez. It's just that this action is obviously impossible to touch the ball, and can only trip Jimenez. This stretching action directly made Jimenez stumble under his feet and fall to the ground. Jimenez also let out a scream and rolled on the ground several times before stopping. After all, Jimenez rushed forward too fast just now. The center of gravity has changed, and due to inertia, all the power is eaten on this fall. Beep. Jiang Ning instantly sounded the whistle and strode over. This time, Jiang Ning didn't give another chance and directly took out a yellow card. Jimenez hit people and fouled action. Argentine defensive player sticks behind his back and fouls. Both of them eat cards. Wow. There was an exclamation from the scene. This referee really doesn't give face at all. It stands to reason that Jimenez burst into this action with the ball, although the hand has more power, but after all, it is the attacking side, and it should not be to the point of eating cards. And the Argentine player here, because he was tripped to the ground, it is understandable to give a kick to intercept in a hurry. So in general, such a foul should be a whistle warning, but not necessarily a card. Jiang Ning directly gave cards to both of them, and such a penalty is indeed strict. But for football, the majesty of the referee is above all else. It is even said that the bottom line of each referee's penalty is different. Some referees blow looser penalties, and some referees blow stricter penalties. Therefore, many of the penalty standards in football are based on the subjective will of the referee. There is no problem in blowing punishments like Jiang Ning. However, such a strict penalty will definitely make this game more hot and difficult. Beep. After showing a yellow card, Jiang Ning awarded the Mexico team a free kick. This move once again aroused many dissatisfied voices. Some people even think that it is clear that Jimenez fouled and hit the person first, why give the Mexico team a free kick? But these dissatisfied voices are also from fans who do not know the rules. The players on both sides had no opinion on Jiang Ning's decision, because they know the rules. In fact, in football, the four words offensive is advantageous have a large proportion. Jimenez is the attacking side, and some physical confrontation is allowed during the breakthrough. According to the actions of the two just now, Jimenez's foul is light, while the foul of the Argentine player is a real card-eating action. The reason why Jiang Ning also showed Jimenez a yellow card was because the Mexico team ignored his warning. Therefore, Jiang Ning gave the Mexico team a free kick that is completely in line with the rules of the football game. Soon, the wall of people began to line up. This free kick of the Mexico team was also given to the left winger Lozano to take the penalty. Lozano stood in front of the free kick with his hands crossed at the waist, calculating the route of the goal. Free kicks in this position, you can shoot directly. At the same time, the walls of the Argentine team were still lined up. Suddenly, Messi came out from behind his teammates. The teammates were stunned when they saw Messi coming. We line up the wall. What are you going to do when you run over with one of the front waists? And immediately after, Messi was behind the human wall and fell straight to the ground. I saw Messi with his back to the human wall, facing the goal of his house, supporting his head with his hands, and posing as a sleeping beauty. Because this scene happened behind the human wall, Lozano, who came to take the free kick, did not notice it at all. What's more, with his understanding of football, a human wall is a human wall. How can there be a person lying behind? This doesn't make sense, so he wouldn't think about it at all. Beep. Jiang Ning sounded the whistle and signaled a free kick to be freed. Lozano took a deep breath and then stepped back a few meters. This is followed by running and volleying, and at the moment of Lozano's volley, the human wall also subconsciously jumped high. This is to prevent this ball from going high, but also to increase the blocking area of the human wall. But Lozano is obviously not this intention. He walked with a low flat ball. Chop to the ground. The football travels along the ground, extremely fast, roaring, and at this time, it is also the time when the human wall jumps high, and it is still time to land. Shout. The football rushed forward against the ground and passed under the human wall very smoothly. Lozano's eyes lit up. There is a lot of hope for this goal to score, because it is advanced from the ground, and it perfectly blocks the view of the goalkeeper. Can't prevent it. Boom. However, in the next second, a muffled sound made his face show a stunned look. What? Messi? How could he be there? Still lying down? Damn it. This is ridiculous. This Messi lies very restrained and cuts this trick. Lozano was so angry that he even had the urge to rush up to the referee to ask for an explanation. And at this time, Messi also stood up from the ground. Just now, the football came close to the ground, and then smashed on his back. In an instant, there was no threat from this slash, and after his buffer, the football was easily confiscated by the goalkeeper of the Argentine team. Messi's beard was pulled, grinning, revealing a mouthful of big white teeth. He redefined the human wall. Episode 124. What does the referee say? Messi does not foul this and does not give him cards on the playing field. Because Messi's lying down like this made a free kick design of the Mexico team that was almost a must-score a joke. Obviously, no one expected such a change. Lozano almost jumped to his feet in anger, and the other players of the Mexico team were also stunned. On the other hand, here in the Argentine team, the players are holding Messi and laughing. This ball just now, if not for Messi's lying down, the football is close to the ground, and it is even likely to change direction because it hits the ground. This ball is very difficult to save, so Messi lying down like this is equivalent to saving the team. Otherwise, if he is scored by the Mexico team at this juncture, then this game will become extremely difficult for the Argentine team. Messi's performance was really amazing. He walked when the whole team was running, and when he ran, the whole team walked. Watch him perform. After this game, Messi went back to the hotel to sleep, and the quilt was lifted in the middle of the night, and at least 2 Mexico defenders were hidden in the bed. Ha ha ha, a good trick Messi lay. Uncle who is too handsome. This lying is simply amazing. I didn't even notice that there was a person lying under the human wall. I have a feeling that from now on, there will be a person lying under the wall of the free kick man, and Uncle who scums slash will have him pay for it after all. It's a pity that Messi's brilliant career has shot through countless goals from other countries, but he is not able to touch my Huasha goal, which can be described as his lifelong regret. Upstairs, you can talk more, Uncle who scum. He also thinks but it's a pity that the strength does not allow to play low-end games. The live broadcast room was shocked to see this scene. The human wall is very common in the game, but it is the first time that a person lying under the human wall has seen and this lying is actually Messi? Who would have thought of this? I don't know. I thought that uncle who wanted to lie on the ground and touch the fish, it turned out to be to prevent this trick from chopping. Instantly made everyone laugh. Messi, this World Cup is too interesting. First walk on the court, and then contribute a move Messi lie down. The scene also emitted a burst of amazement. This is really the first time I've seen such a human wall tactic. I have to say that Messi is very good at playing. This bearded and uncle-looking ball king Messi actually has such a side, especially looking at his grinning appearance now. It seems to be happier than scoring a goal. The referee, how do you say that? So by him? Lozano couldn't help it, found Jiang Ning, and wanted to ask for an explanation. Jiang Ning waved his hand and signaled that there was no problem with this human wall. This is also true, because the rules of football do not clearly state that the human wall can only be standing, lie down, and the football only touched Messi's back in the end, which is also within the scope of allowing touching the ball, so it's not a foul. Lozano shook his head helplessly, feeling that this was ridiculous. But what about it? People's movements are allowed, and they are not foul, and they can only blame themselves for not entering. Jiang Ning whistled, urging the game to continue. At this time, the football ball has been handed over to the Argentine goal ball. Boom. The goalkeeper drove the football out and quickly handed it over to the midfield. Messi tried to run a few steps, and sure enough, the Mexico players were still with him. So Messi simply continued to walk. There is no good opportunity. Then it is better to save physical strength. The football passed under the feet of the Argentine players, slowly advancing. And at this time, the crazy pressing of the players of the Ironcego's team came again, and this brutal positional battle continued. Beep. Soon, Jiang Ning sounded the whistle and once again took out a yellow card against the players of the Mexico team. Obviously, after missing such a good opportunity just now, the players of the Mexico team also had some patience in their hearts, so their scrambling action is also a little bigger. However, Jiang Ning's whistle and yellow card poured cold water on them in time, and the rhythm of the game was controlled again. The football continues to be passed, and the close pressing of the Mexico players has indeed put a lot of pressure on the Argentine. A team like the Argentine team, which mainly fights the penetration of positions under their feet, is very disadvantaged in the face of such tactics. So another 2 minutes have passed, and the football is still controlling the position in the midfield. It's hard to even approach the opponent's half. Boom. In desperation, the midfielders of the Argentine team can only try to pass it with a high kick. The ball flew out and went straight to the left side of the front court. But in the face of such a pass, the disadvantage of the lack of height of the Argentine players is reflected. In the battle for the high point, the ball of football was taken by the Mexico players. In an instant, the attack and defense have changed. The counterattack of the Mexico team. Boom. High point long pass. The Mexico team took advantage of this perfectly, passing the ball directly to the midfield from the left side of the back. Immediately afterwards, the teammate in the midfield position jumped sharply and pushed the football to the front court. The Mexico team, who had the advantage in the high point scramble, still won the ball in front. Next, it's about finding the position of the striker. Boom. The Mexico players shifted sideways and found Jimenez at the far end. After Jimenez took the ball, he faced the pockets of 2 Argentine defenders, without hesitation or pause, and transferred the football again. At this time, the football finally came to the left wing of the Argentine penalty area. Lozano managed to get the ball. Good location, try to break through and shoot. And this time, the counterattack was very fast. The cooperation between the players of the Mexico team is very tacit. Just the 4-corner pass almost runs through the entire stadium, threatening the back line of the Argentine team. But it is also at this time, Jiang Ning's face suddenly changed. He turned his head sharply and looked at the fan audience, because at this moment, he heard shouts from the audience. Referee. Umpire. Quick, someone has an accident here. Referee. There was an uncle who fainted and had no heartbeat. Something happened. He needs to be taken to the hospital right away. There are so many people that I can't squeeze it out. What to do? Because Jiang Ning was the closest to this location, he keenly heard the shouts of the puzzles. But these cries are faint. Imagine that in the scene of more than 90,000 people roaring, the cries for help of fans in a small area can easily be drowned out by the sound of the scene. Fortunately, Jiang Ning's hearing is sharp enough. After Jiang Ning noticed that something was wrong, he immediately turned his head and found that a small area in the audience was completely chaotic. The figures overlapped, and the fans huddled together and made a mess. Jiang Ning immediately mobilized the eagle's eye skill to investigate the situation in the audience. Suddenly, Jiang Ning's heart jumped. Life above all else. Beep. Jiang Ning whistled, and the sharp whistle made the players and fans in the stadium stunned. They looked towards Jiang Ning, but saw Jiang Ning make a pause gesture to them. Immediately afterwards, they saw that Jiang Ning was already running towards the sidelines. At this time, the on-site director finally realized that a special situation had occurred on the scene, so he immediately turned the camera to the audience where Jiang Ning was heading. Wow. The audience was in an uproar. At this time, everyone saw clearly, there was an old man in the audience who was in a coma. The surrounding fans and spectators are trying to find a way to treat it, but the scene was too chaotic, and it was full of people. At this time, it is simply impossible to send an urgent person out. Quick! Stretcher. Ventilator. Pacemaker. Team doctors of the 2 teams, hurry up. Jiang Ning waved to the team doctors of the 2 teams on the sidelines, signaling them to hurry here to save people. At this time, the Mexico players who were attacking were stunned. Especially Lozano. You know, Lozano is preparing to break through with the ball at this time, and with his foot skills, it is difficult for the 2 defenders in front of him to stop him. This is the opportunity of the Mexico team. It was their crucial goal, to advance to the round of 16. But why did this happen at this time? Lozano's face was gloomy, but soon, the struggle on his face disappeared, as if he had made up a lot of determination. Immediately after, he turned around sharply and kicked the football out of bounds. Boom! The football should fly high and fly straight out of the border. And immediately afterwards, Lozano also ran to the location of the team doctor on the sidelines. Now the situation is urgent and there is a race against time. The team doctor doesn't run fast, but he runs fast. He can help with the delivery of medical equipment. In fact, not only him, but Jiang Ning had already moved at this time. I saw that Jiang Ning burst out at this moment with a speed no less than that of a first-class star, rushing to the sidelines like a cheetah. Immediately afterwards, Jiang Ning took the lead in grabbing the stretcher and ran back. In more than 10 seconds, Jiang Ning ran a distance that a normal person could not run in 30 seconds. And through the switching of the camera, countless fans also noticed the change in Jiang Ning's eyes. This is the first and only time they saw that Jiang Ning's eyes had an anxious look. Episode 126 earn the respect of the audience. You are the most humane judge we have ever seen. Subscription, customization. Just as the old man's heartbeat recovered, in addition to the jubilation at the scene, cheers erupted all over the world. Many fans who watched the game through the live broadcast could not hold back the tears in their eyes. At least for this moment, the hearts of all fans were unanimous. Soon, the staff of the organizer rushed over and took the old man to the hospital. At this time, the players from both sides walked towards Jiang Ning. They stretched out their hands one after another and high-fived Jiang Ning. Even the goalkeepers of the two teams ran most of the field, just to celebrate this moment with Jiang Ning. No matter what kind of antagonistic state the two sides are, at this moment, they are all standing together. Referee, it's beautiful. You're the most human referee I've ever met. I mean, other referees have a human touch, but you're more. Although the game was interrupted by you, I still want to say thank you for the old man. Haha, to be honest, this is the first time I feel so good about a referee, and even want to hug you. You are a good referee. If you are punished for interrupting the game, it can only be said that FIFA is too stupid. The players on both sides exchanged a few pleasantries with Jiang Ning before running back to their position 24. Jiang Ning smiled slightly. This game was also the warmest game he had ever enforced. Soon, the players from both sides returned to their positions, and Jiang Ning blew the whistle of the game again. The game continues. At this time, the Argentine players stood outside the sideline. Because before the game was interrupted, football was being mastered by Lozano of the Mexico team. He was supposed to launch a breakthrough attack, but finally chose to kick the ball out of the line. So, according to the rules of football, the ball should go back to the Argentine, their out-of-bounds ball. The Argentine players held the ball in their hands and watched in place for a while. Shout. The player then threw the football into the field. It's just surprising that the football was delivered to the feet of Mexico's Lozano accurately. There was an uproar at first. Immediately afterwards, there was a thunderous applause, and Lozano was obviously stunned. He looked at the football at his feet, and then looked at each other with some confusion. The Argentine player shrugged at Lozano and said, "The ball would have been yours. You gave up this football for the life of the old man. Now I'll give this football back to you. Cheer up, although you attack us, but this time, I won't let you pass easily." Saying that, this player blocked in front of Lozano. When Lozano heard this, he couldn't help but smile. His eyes flashed brightly. Such an opponent is worthy of respect. Then you should be careful, Lozano said with a smile, then put away his smile, and his eyes became focused again. With a bang, Lozano knocked his right foot, and the football bounced slightly on the ground. Then, a little on his tiptoe, the football passed through the opponent's feet. Passed through the crotch. The moment the football rolled out, Lozano also launched lightning fast, bypassing the defender and coming behind him. This series of movements is fast and quite skillful. Solono's success. At this time, another defensive player of the Argentine team also immediately came up and blocked Lozano's way. Lozano didn't think much and didn't choose to pass again. Because there is no such thing as a great opportunity now, might as well shoot from a long distance yourself. Boom! Solono's sudden volley with his foot raised, and the football rose flat and swept towards the goal. This shot is extremely sudden, and the strength of the football is also very strong. The football quickly cut an arc in midair and rushed to the goal of the Argentine team. Very threatening. Boom! The goalkeeper of the Argentine team reacted in time, quickly jumped up and struck the football out of the top right corner of the goal with both fists. Lozano covered his head in disappointment. In fact, the quality of this shot just now is very high, and it does pose a great threat to the goal of the Argentine team. It's just that the opposing goalkeeper is highly concentrated and responsive enough. It was a good ball, but unfortunately it didn't get into the net. Whoops. The fans at the scene gave applause in time. Anyway, Lozano just gave up his best chance, and this kick should belong to him. At this point, the first half of the game has been 28 minutes away. The score is still 0-0, however, 10 of them were delayed because of what happened just now, so the injury time in the first half will definitely not be less. The football was finally won by the Argentine players, and then handed over to the goalkeeper, and the attack and defense were converted again. The Argentine team held the ball and began to continue looking for opportunities to advance, and the Mexico team still maintains a high intensity of pressing and keeping a close eye on Messi. This makes the Argentines team very uncomfortable. It can be said that Messi is the brain of the team. Targeting Messi to death is equivalent to making the connection between the brain and body of the Argentine team uncomfortably connected. So this also caused the Argentine team to appear a little the offensive end. Even if the football is handed over to the front court, it is difficult to organize some attacks in the face of the iron-blooded defense of the Mexico team. In desperation, the Argentine team could only knock the football back into the central midfield again and continue to look for opportunities. At this time, the atmosphere between the two sides became tense again. No matter what just happened, whether they respect each other in their hearts or not, as long as the game continues, they are enemies. Boom. The Argentine team tried a high long pass again. Because it is too difficult to penetrate from the position, the Mexico team's defense is too dead. So the midfielders still chose the high point to rush. Only this time they were also extremely careful, and there were only two players in the direction they transmitted. One is DePaul from the Argentines. The other one is a Mexico defender. There are only two people. It depends on who can win this ball. Suddenly, the two rushed in the direction where the football fell. It's a half ball. It is also commonly known as the 5-5-T. The meaning is obvious. It is the landing point of this pass, and both sides are likely to grab it. Both sides are close to the soccer position, and the possibility of competing is almost the same. And at this time, Messi, who had been walking, finally moved. This is an opportunity. If a teammate can win the ball, then he must try to break through, and if he can't get it, it can also divert the opponent's attention. Finally, the football fell. DePaul and the 370 Mexico defenders jumped almost at the same time. Boom. It was DePaul who touched the football. DePaul's head pushed the football to the side first, but almost the moment he hit the ball, the head of the Mexico player also crashed. The heads of the two collided and made a muffled sound. Both fell to the ground, both covering their heads and rolling on the ground. Jiang Ning immediately ran while pointing his arms forward. The offense is advantageous. Do not suspend the game. At this time, the football had already fallen to the side and rushed in the direction of the Mexico penalty area, and Messi, who had already launched one step earlier, finally seized the opportunity. His leg swung rapidly and burst out with incredible speed. Take a leisurely walk when you don't have a chance. Turn into a bolt of lightning when you have the opportunity. Uncle Hu Yuan broke out instantly. However, the defenders who have been keeping an eye on Messi will naturally not let Messi easily rush into the box with the ball. With Messi's ability, if he is allowed to rush in, the consequences are unimaginable. Whether it's a breakthrough shot, a penalty creation, or a straight pass, these will deal a fatal blow to the Mexico team. So, one of the defensive players chose a tactical foul. Boom. I saw him stretch out his foot and forcibly trip Messi behind him. Beep. Jiang Ning whistled instantly. However, the first thing Jiang Ning did after sounding the whistle was not to play cards and make penalties, but to signal to the team doctors of the two teams. DePaul and Mexico defenders, who previously fought for high penalties, are still lying on the ground. Episode 127. The referee looked at this. He fouled, punished him. Beep. After Jiang Ning sounded the whistle, he quickly called the team doctors of the two teams. Just now, DePaul and the other party hit their heads, which is a key physical fit. The two ran desperately, and it was difficult to say whether there would be any serious impact on such a scrambling collision. For example, concussion, dizziness, vomiting, blurred vision, etc. are all possible. So the first thing Jiang Ning did after the interruption of the game was also to care about the injuries of the two players. The team doctor rushed to the field, and they couldn't hold back for a long time. It's just that according to the rules of the football game, if the referee does not blow the suspension of the game, they are not allowed to play in any way. In football, the referee's voice is above all else. So when Jiang Ning blew the whistle and paused, he rushed to the field and ran towards the players on both sides. Soon, the team doctors of both teams examined the DePaul and Mexico players. Are you okay? Can you still see clearly? How many fingers are I sticking out? Answer me quickly. Both team doctors are confirming the player's physical condition. Until it was confirmed that the two were conscious and there was no big problem, they were relieved. Fortunately, both of them were not seriously injured, and after some examination and trying, it was determined that they could return to the game. After confirmation, he told Jiang Ning that the two could compete in body consciousness, and Jiang Ning nodded, then turned and ran to the direction where Messi was tripped just now. Immediately afterwards, Jiang Ning took out a yellow card and showed it to the Mexico player who had just fouled the tactical foul. Just now, in order to prevent Messi from breaking through, there is no problem with this player's actions eating a yellow card. The players of the Mexico team lowered their heads helplessly, and had nothing to say about Jiang Ning's penalty. Compared to letting Messi break through, eating a yellow card is already within the acceptable range. This is the tactics against superstars, preferring to foul Messi than to break through the. Jiang Ning sounded the whistle and awarded a direct free kick to the Argentine team. And this ball will also be personally taken by Messi. Wait a minute, this human wall can't do this. I'll go and lie down. Yes, don't let him go to the ground. There are still loopholes in the human wall. We also lie down, lie too, close to the ground to chop this Messi cooked. We also have to put this trick off. When the Mexico players lined up the human wall, they also had a special eye. Having eaten a loss from Messi before, they also learned, and also laid down twice at a time, so that the fans at the scene also let out an uproar. The human wall has really been redefined. When other teams saw this game, I am afraid that they also learned from it. In the future, there will be players to defend against such a hand. Beep. Jiang Ning whistled again, and the wall was already arranged. Messi stood in front of the ball with solemn eyes. Immediately after, he quickly retreated, and then there was a run-up volley. The whole action was done in one go. The mentality was also very good, and there was no pressure. This is the veteran in the arena, always so mature and steady, and the clouds are light and breezy. Boom! The football flew out, cut the arc, successfully crossed the human wall, and went straight to the middle corner of the goal. However, Ochoa, the door god of the Mexico team, has long been prepared and made a precise save. The football bang was smashed out by Ochoa. Ha ha ha, there are two people lying under the wall, which respects Messi's close chopping. So handsome, this one is very good. The most valuable goalkeeper can predict Messi's thoughts, too fierce. The game was wonderful. The players on both sides were excellent and deserved this ticket. Fans on both sides of the scene exclaimed, "This free kick is of high quality, and if the opposing goalkeeper is not Ochoa, it is likely to score. Ochoa is worthy of being the goalkeeper and the most valuable player in the Mexico team." This is the second meeting between Messi and goalkeeper Ochoa in this game. Boom! The football was knocked out and flew out of the box. The Argentine players are guarding the outside and once again in possession of the ball. There is still a point later. The offensive continues. Shout! The football was once again picked into the box. Di Maria of the Argentine team successfully took the football. Raise your foot and shoot again. Boom! However, this ball hit the arm of the Mexico player who was running to intercept it. Hey, hey, hey! It's handball. Hit the referee. Look here, it's a penalty. Suddenly, the Argentine players stretched out their hands towards Jiang Ning to signal. Jiang Ning also immediately sounded the whistle. However, Jiang Ning stood in place without moving, nor did he mean to blow the handball, but pointed in the direction of the linesman. The players on both sides looked in the direction Jiang Ning was pointing. Only then did they notice that the linesman was holding a small flag to the position where Di Maria was. What? Am I offside? Damn it, it's a good opportunity. The Argentine players showed a disappointed look and shook their heads and sighed. This handball does not count. This sense of loss is very demoralizing for players. It's as if you thought you had won the lottery and happily ran to claim the prize only to find that you had seen it wrong. There will be a strong sense of contrast and disappointment. At this time, in the Huaxia studio, Su Dong, ouch. It should have been a handball just now, but it was ruled offside first. Fan Zi, the Argentine team is happy. Fan Zi, they have been trying to organize the attack, thinking they had a penalty or a free kick in the box. Fan Zi, as a result, Di Maria was offside first. What a pity. Su Dong, Coach Fan, I see that many fans don't understand the penalty of this ball just now. Su Dong, there is also a part of the concept of handball that is also vague. Su Dong, so can you ask Fan to explain these issues to the fans and friends? Fan Zi, okay, let's talk about the ball just now. Fan Zi, Di Maria, who was the Argentine team just now, was ruled offside first. Fan Zi, in the case of offside first, you will be blown off even if you score a goal. So naturally the handball behind it does not count. Su Dong, it doesn't happen, right? Fan Zi, yes, first the penalty was blown offside, and the subsequent series of actions, in fact, we can understand that the game has been suspended. Fan Zi, so the subsequent actions don't count. Su Dong, what if Di Maria wasn't offside just now? Will this handball be blown as a penalty just now? Fan Zi, not necessarily. Fan Zi, there are many kinds of judgments in handball, and the situation of active handball and passive handball is very different. Fan Zi, it also depends on whether the handball player has tightened his arms and deliberately dodged the football. Fan Zi, if a handball like this just now counts, I guess that referee Jiang Ning is likely to award a free kick in the penalty area. Su Dong, yes, but there should be many fans who don't know much about free kicks in the box. Fan Zi, free kicks in the box are indeed more special, and the number of occurrences is very small. Fan Zi, in fact, this handball just now belongs to passive handball, not the player's subjective consciousness to intercept with his hand. Fan Zi, he was hit by a football while running, with his arm naturally stretched. Fan Zi, but this player did not take the initiative to close his arms, so the Jiang Ning referee should award a direct free kick in the box. Su Dong, free kicks in the penalty area are very dangerous, after all, they are too close to the goal. Fan Zi, yes, but there was an offside situation before, and everything was for nothing. Su Dong, okay, thank you Fan for your explanation, let's continue to pay attention to the game. The game continues. Because of Di Maria's offside just now, the ball was handed over to the Mexico team. Boom. Ochoa, the goalkeeper of the Mexico team, drove the football big foot out and the football flew to the half. Instead of choosing to advance a little, they tried to make another wave of fast attacks. Shout. Football halfway across, it's time for players from both sides to fight for the ball again. As long as the Mexico team can successfully take the football down, then there is a good chance of breaking into the Argentines' penalty area. Soon, the football fell. Jimenez of the Mexico team and Di Maria of the Argentine team are fighting. Boom. Di Maria came across the football first, and he took a better position. Damn. Jimenez cursed secretly and continued to stick to his body to force it. Because this ball is already close to the touchline in front. So as long as Di Maria is pushed out with the ball, the Mexico team still has the hope of attacking. Therefore, Jimenez used the advantages of his body to constantly oppress behind Di Maria. And just when Di Maria was about to be squeezed out of the sideline, he finally stood unsteadily and fell to the ground on his back. Episode 128. Jiang Ning's punishment is too accurate, and the camera is not as powerful as his eyes. Di Maria fell to the ground, forced out of the sideline by Jimenez. But then, an accident followed. Because Di Maria fell to the ground on her back, his back fell to the ground, so naturally, his legs were lifted with him. And Jimenez, he has always maintained the power of forward pressure. At this time, Di Maria suddenly fell, and the power of the front pressure also flew out. So inertia made his center of gravity unstable, and he also fell forward. This pours forward, and it pours out an accident. Di Maria's right foot is right between Jimenez's legs. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Jimenez's expression was lost, his eyes rolled over, his body twitched violently, and he also fell to the ground. He rolled on the ground with a strange cry, holding the important part of the injury with both hands, and kept wailing. The sound of pain resounded throughout the stadium. Just from this painful wail, you can feel how much pain this is. Jiang Ning immediately sounded the whistle and strode towards looking here. Boom. The scene also broke out into an exclamation. Both male and female fans widened their eyes. It's just that male fans are out of sympathy, because men understand this pain, while female fans are more curious than concerned. Where is the injury? Look at the place covered by this hand seems to be the key part. Being stepped on by studs there will not affect his future ability. Football is indeed a high-risk sport. This silent mourning for his husband's 310 people will have a little impact on the future. Ringing. I don't think men are so fragile. I often sneak up on my husband. He is still healthy, won't hurt like this? Oh God. I think he needs to be taken to the hospital right away. That voice is so sad. Can the camera get closer? I didn't mean anything else, just care. The male and female fans at the scene discussed it one after another. Among them, some girls even held their eyes with their hands and revealed a slit to look secretly. Their dialogue is also very exciting. After all, foreign girls are more open than Huaxia. This provoked many male fans around to subconsciously move to the side. Can't mess with it, can't afford to mess with it. Beep. With a whistle, Jiang Ning strode over, looking calmly at the two people on the ground in front of him. At this time, the team doctors of both teams were ready to rush to the field. However, it was stopped by Jiang Ning. As the referee, he saw the collision between the two just now, and he will also have a general assessment of the injuries of the two. The first thing that is certain is that Di Maria is definitely fine. However, because this guy saw Jimenez fall to the ground, he simply couldn't get up and pretended to be in pain. As for Jimenez, he was indeed injured, but Jiang Ning did not think that he could not continue to compete. Get up. Jiang Ning waved at Di Maria lightly. Di Maria was stunned for a moment, and for a moment she didn't know whether she should stand up or not. I'll let you get up. Jiang Ning spoke again, only this time his tone and eyes were much harsher. At this time, Di Maria felt the majesty of this Chinese referee. His heart jumped, and then he stood up with some weakness. Jiang Ning didn't say anything more, took out the yellow card directly from his chest pocket and showed it. Wow. There was another uproar at the scene. Many Argentines fans are a little unhappy that Di Maria hurt Jimenez, but that was also because Di Maria was tripped to the ground and her body was out of control. Jimenez bumped into it himself. This also has to take a yellow card? It's too much, isn't it? Isn't Di Maria a victim? I accidentally ran into Jimenez and also want to eat cards? Is it reasonable to say that whoever is injured is justified? Then Di Maria, you also lie down, why stand up? Isn't the Huaxia referee a little excessive? And it's not a malicious foul. The fans at the scene made dissatisfied voices and booed Jiang Ning in the stadium. Jiang Ning was expressionless, and after taking a deep look at Di Maria, he turned to look at Jimenez. At this time, Jimenez was already feeling better, and stood up from the ground tremblingly. Can you continue to play? Jiang Ning asked. Yes, referee, Jimenez replied. Okay, the game continues. Jiang Ning nodded, raised his arm, and pointed in the direction of the Argentine team. This is a signal that the Mexico team has the ball outside bounds. And at this time, the big screen hanging in the middle of the stadium began to play back the picture of the two falling just now. According to the slow playback of the picture, it was indeed Di Maria who fell to the ground first. After Di Maria fell, her feet were bent towards the sky. But at this time, Jimenez bumped in. Di Maria's originally bent right foot has a very subtle, straightening motion. It is precisely because of this action that Jimenez injured important parts in an uproar. The scene erupted into amazement again. I see. Until the picture was slowed out, they could see clearly what had just happened. It turns out that Di Maria has a deliberate leg-stretching action. Although it is very subtle, it is still recognized by Jiang Ning. If it weren't for slow motion, anyone watching it would be an accident. But after slowing down several times, Di Maria's small movements are everywhere. This is a deliberate hurt. Yellow cards must be eaten. While the fans at the scene were amazed, they also cast apologetic eyes at Jiang Ning. They also misunderstood Jiang Ning before, and the punishment was too heavy for Jiang Ning. But now they know how professional this Huaxia judge is. Such small movements are accurately captured by him. I'm afraid the camera is not as powerful as his eyes, right? It's a humanoid HD camera. After the picture was played, Di Maria lowered her head with some shame. He originally thought that his movements were hidden enough, but he didn't expect to eat a job. In fact, the reason why he made such an action was also because he was really holding his breath in his heart. I finally got the ball, but I was pushed down by the other party. Can I not be angry? But this card, he also eats, and takes it orally. At the same time, his eyes looking at Jiang Ning also became a little frightened. After the meeting, you must find a chance to tell your teammates that in front of this referee, don't think about making small moves. This Huaxiao referee is terrible. At this time, in the Huaxiao live broadcast room, the barrage became dense again. Let's just say that Brother Ning's punishment is still so accurate and decisive. People have nothing to say and are powerless to refute. Every pair out, 20 Xie 1. Men's pain, only men understand. Jimenez's loss is hundreds of millions. What do you mean upstairs? How many 100 million are lost by being stepped on? How can it be? It's a girl asking this question, right? The loss of hundreds of millions is not money, but something more precious, comparable to the life of an ox. I know everything. Brother Ning's penalty slapped the whole audience in the face again. Beep. With Jiang Ning's whistle, the game continues. By this time, the first half had already reached 35 minutes. The two sides still failed to open the situation. Even the number of shots on goal is pitiful. Because of the crazy pressure of the Mexico team, although the Argentine team has a high possession rate, every attack is unsuccessful. A lot of football is spent going back and forth in midfield, and neither side has a good chance. Coupled with Jiang Ning's strict penalty and constant whistle, the entire first half of the game was cut to pieces. Many fans began to complain that this was the least exciting game they had ever seen. At this point, the Hexago team threw out the ball. As soon as Jimenez got the ball, he immediately shifted laterally towards the far end. Football has successfully reached Lozano's feet. Lozano had a serious expression, faced the defense of the Argentine players, and chose to forcibly break through to the bottom line. And at this time, the accident happened again. After Lozano brought the ball to the bottom line, because the force under his feet was slightly greater, the football was about to fall out of the corner. But at this time, the football hit the corner flagpole and bounced back. Hey! Umpire! This ball is out of line. How does this count? The football has been out of the line and bounced back. Referee, why don't you blow the whistle? Don't you see? Suddenly, the Argentine team players began to shout at Jiang Ning and the linesmen, raising their hands. Episode 129. Jiang Ning is on the field, making all the players feel oppressed. The Argentine team players raised their hands to Jiang Ning, because Lozano's ball was bound to go out of the line. But his luck was good, he hit the corner flagpole, and the football was ejected again, still back at Lozano's feet. For such a game, any ball possession needs to be fought for, so the Argentine team players immediately expressed their dissatisfaction with Jiang Ning and the linesmen. However, for their gesture, Jiang Ning and the linesmen waved their hands, indicating that this ball was not a problem. Shout. After Lozano regained the football, he immediately passed the football vigorously. Because at this time, the Argentine players are stretching out their hands, which is a rare good opportunity. The ball flew in the direction of the goal and was a lateral pass. The Mexico players immediately stepped forward to outflank. It's just a pity that the teammates did not jam the position in advance, and they could not touch the football at all, let alone play cooperatively. It has to be said that the Mexico team does lack a conscious striker on the offensive end, so their attack seemed very weak and did not pose any threat to the Argentines. In the end, football still flew out of the bottom line, and the Mexico team missed the opportunity again. At this time, in the Huaxia studio, Sudong, the Mexico team still failed to grasp this goal. Sudong, but I'm afraid that even if this goal is scored, many fans will be a little unconvinced, right? Sudong, because this ball is a controversial ball. Sudong, just now, the football should indeed fly out of the line, but it was blocked by the corner flagpole. Fan Zi, yes, but there is nothing wrong with Jiang Ning and the linesman's decision. Fan Zi, because according to the rules of football matches, the corner flagpole is also considered a part of the football field. Fan Zi, so the football hits the corner flagpole and then bounces back into the field. This is not out of bounds, it is still a good ball. Sudong, yes, we can think of the corner flagpole as the same thing as the doorpost. Sudong, if the football hits the goalpost and bounces back, it is not considered a qualification, it will not interrupt the game. Sudong, but speaking of which, many fans should be very confused about what the horn flagpole does. Sudong, I used to hear some fans complaining that this corner flagpole is there, but it will affect the players to take corner kicks. Sudong, many fans don't even know what the meaning of the existence of the corner flagpole is, even after watching the ball for more than 10 years. Sudong, so today we will take this opportunity to ask Fan to explain it to everyone. Fan Zi, okay, then I'll drink everyone's nagging. Fan Zi, in fact, the horn flagpole is very necessary. He has avoided a lot of controversies and disputes. Fan Zi, and the horn flagpole also has international standards, and the height must not be less than 1.5 meters. Fan Zi, the role it plays, in fact, is mainly to distinguish between corner kicks and sideline balls. Fan Zi, let's use an analogy. If the football rolls out from this corner of the stadium, or flies out, what should it be counted? Fan Z, should it be a corner kick or an out-of-bounds ball? Fan Z, you know, the difference between corner kicks and out-of-bounds balls is huge. It is likely to have very different consequences. Su Dong, yes, after all, the main penalty of the corner kick cannot be interfered with, and it is a very good offensive opportunity for the attacking side. Su Dong, and the out-of-bounds ball is difficult to say, it may be thrown out and directly snatched by the other party. Fan Z, yes, so the role of the horn flagpole is reflected here. Fan Z, after the football hits the corner flagpole, it goes out from the bottom line. Even if the corner kick goes out from the sideline, it is considered an out-of-bounds ball. Fan Z, so the horn flagpole also has certain height requirements, and if the height exceeds 1.5 meters, it will be judged by VAR technology. Su Dong, yes, so the probability that this ball touched the corner flagpole and then bounced back into the field is relatively small. Su Dong, there is no problem with the penalty of this ball, but it is a pity that the Mexico team itself failed to seize this good opportunity. Fan Z, okay, let's continue to follow the game. At this time, in the playing field, the football flew out of the line, and the linesman raised the flag at the baseline. This means the goal kick for the Argentine. The ball is back in the Argentine, and the attack and defense are once again switched. Boom. The Argentine goalkeeper gently pushed the ball out and did not choose the long pass to open the ball easily. Compared to the high-point long pass, the Argentine team is still better at playing ground penetration, and by this time, the game has been going on for nearly 40 minutes. Although it was interrupted for 10 minutes in the middle, it was obvious that the physical strength of the Mexico players was declining. They have always maintained a high position to press, and such physical exertion is a great burden for the Mexico team, which is not young on average. Shout. The football is slowly advancing at the feet of the Argentines players. The crazy pressing of the Mexico team continues, but the physical exertion has made it difficult for them to maintain high-quality oppression. Beep. Jiang Ning's whistle many times. Although they didn't give cards, they also made the Mexico players sweat cold. Their movements are already a little irregular, sometimes the eyes are staring at the ball, but they still touch the opponent's feet when pressing. If this continues, the Mexico team will be very dangerous, and it was precisely because of Jiang Ning's repeated whistles that the advance of the Argentine team was intermittent, and the entire offensive rhythm was torn to pieces. The football was finally passed to the front court at the feet of Di Maria. He raised his head and glanced at where Messi was, and sighed helplessly in his heart. This uncle is still walking, but this is not to blame Messi for not running, but he can't run at all. Even if it is a walk, there are people behind you who follow closely, and yet, it's at this time, Messi, who had been walking leisurely, suddenly turned around and reached out to Di Maria for the ball. This move by Messi immediately attracted the attention of many people. In addition to keeping up with Messi, the Mexico players also have an extra heart. The loss I suffered just now is still vividly remembered. You can't let holes in the forward line in order to keep an eye on Messi. The Mexico players are vigilant. They believe that this may still be Messi's loss, and this ball will probably still be passed to someone else. However, this time they miscalculated. I saw Di Maria's eyes brightened, and after running a few steps with the ball, he resolutely gave the football to Messi. The Mexico players overlooked a point. Di Maria is Messi's best partner. He is known as the Mr. Key of the game, and it depends more on him often working with Messi to deliver key passes. Shout. So, unexpectedly, this ball was still handed over to the feet of Messi. The scene boom broke out into deafening cheers and cheers. As soon as the King Messi got the ball, it caused a sensation in the audience. Boom. Messi gently pushed the ball out, and the comfortable posture of the original bending instantly changed. His eyes became focused, and his feet were extremely fast. Just with the speed of this sudden burst, he swept past the two Mexico defenders. But this only penetrates the forward line of the Mexico team. And a layer of defense. Messi continues to break through with the ball. Instead of choosing to pass the ball, he used his excellent personal ability to force his way into the Mexico penalty area. Hugh, damn it. Stop him, don't let him in. Suddenly, the defensive players of the Mexico team immediately ran over. 1, 2, 3, 4. A full 4 people packed up and blocked all the routes around Messi. Episode 130. Wouldn't it be about collecting money and blowing a black whistle in front of so many people? Ask for subscription, ask for customization, ask for full determination. The game continues. The 4 of them went up and blocked all the routes around Messi. Now Messi has only 2 options. Either choose to continue to break through, and maybe spell out a chance. Or choose to pass the ball to your teammates. But if the pass goes out at this time, it will take at least a few more seconds for the teammates to pick up and break through again. But this is equivalent to giving up this opportunity, because a few seconds is enough time for the Mexico backline to reintegrate. Facing the iron-blooded defense of the Mexico team, it is difficult to have a chance to shoot. At this time, Messi's excellent consciousness is reflected. The experience of a veteran is too important in the World Cup. He made a decision in an instant. Keep breaking through with the ball, show your skills to the fullest, stand out from the crowd. At this time, the back line of the Mexico team is not messy enough. He wants to mess it up completely. At that time, whether you play the goal or pass the ball yourself, you can create value. Boom. Therefore, Messi, under the defense of the 4-person bag, not only did not slow down, but broke into the box faster. 6 workers too. The Mexico players immediately stretched out their feet to intercept. Messi's reaction is fast, or he is simply a subconscious reaction. I saw Messi directly step on the football, so that the football that was originally rolling forward stopped forcibly, and when it stopped like this, it was easy to shake the other party's foot. Not only that, because the opponent did not touch the ball, but the center of gravity was unstable and fell to the ground. Messi is as steady as Tarzan, and continues to break through with the ball. At this moment, Messi's superb foot technique and dribbling ability are reflected. 4 defenders kept stretching their feet around him, stunned but didn't stop him. And at this time, Messi's dribbling has also attracted more defenders. That's 6. It's all people, front and back, left and right. Even if the teammates of the Argentine team want to come up and pick it up, they can't do it. I really can't squeeze in. Messi's dribbling continues. He has swung past 4 opponents in a row, and at this moment, Messi suddenly stepped down. The football was forcibly sent out of the crowd by him. Messi did not choose to continue to break through. His decision was correct, because by this time, he had already attracted enough firepower. There is already a gap in front of the other teammates. If he continues to break through with the ball, he is very likely to be forcibly cut off, and Ochoa's attention has been on him, and the shooting rate is not high, so, passing is the best option. However, at this time even passing is very technical. I saw the football bounce violently off the ground, and then flew out of the gap in the chest of several defensive players. This is another exquisite pass. You know, everyone's attention is under your feet at this time. A sudden high penalty kick was obviously unexpected by the opponent, and the direction of football at this time is to fly to Lautaro Martin on the side. He has no one to watch. The football swept out and sent precisely to the feet of Lautaro Martin. Messi's passing is not only subtle, but also accurate. After Lautaro Martin took the ball, his eyes were bright. Golden opportunity, boom. Without the slightest hesitation, he stepped forward with the ball. At this time, he is still a little far from the position of the goal, and about 5 meters ahead is the best shooting distance. And at this time, the defensive players and goalkeeper Ochoa of the Mexico team also reacted and caught up. The goalkeeper Ochoa took the initiative to block Lautaro Martin's goal route. Lautaro Martin looked solemn and immediately raised his foot to hit the goal after rushing a few meters before breaking through with the ball. Boom. It's still a low flat ball. Want to push a close foot, stopped, but at this time Ochoa's reaction was almost perfect. The moment Lautaro Martin shot, he opened his hands and feet and blocked as much as possible. Sure enough, the football was still touched by his toes and blocked out. Lautaro Martin raised his head and roared up to the sky in disappointment. Missed opportunity. Messi desperately created an opportunity, he did not grasp it. If he didn't hesitate just now, be resolute and shoot directly, I'm afraid the whole goal would have scored. It was he who brought such a distance of several meters forward, but gave Ochoa time to react. However, I have to say that this door god of the Mexico team is indeed ridiculously brave. Lautaro Martin clapped his hand in Messi's direction, then extended his hand to signal. Apologize by indicating that this ball is his responsibility. Messi shook his head and smiled, not saying anything more. Football is like that sometimes. Images of missed opportunities also happen in soccer. Beep. Jiang Ning pointed to the corner and signaled the corner kick of the Argentine team. Although Messi's second pass did not score, at least the Argentine team now have a corner kick. Di Maria ran to the corner kick, which will be taken by him. Boom. Di Maria is very crisp and does not drag the corner without the slightest drag. And Di Maria's goal is also clear, still Messi. Shout. The football draws an arc and flies horizontally. Messi opened his hands, and the original stubble uncle instantly turned into a beast. Speed, power, explosiveness, all perfectly displayed in this moment. His figure crashed out of the crowd. Yes, just bump out. Even in the face of fierce defensive and physically good Mexico players, Messi has successfully broken through. Run riot. Don't look at Messi spending most of his time taking leisurely walks, but the ability to show at key moments is definitely ceiling level. Even in terms of physical fitness, it is definitely the top existence. Boom. After Messi rushed out, he jumped up sharply. People are still in midair, just volley. This kick is heavy. Even fans who just watched this match through the live screen can clearly feel how terrifying the power of this kick is. If you are kicked on a person, I am afraid that you may be directly seriously injured or killed. Messi's kick smashed firmly on the football. But immediately after, a bang came. Boom. After the football made a loud noise, Faye spoke of the net. The ball went in. Beep. However, before the Argentine players could celebrate, Jiang Ning had already sounded the whistle. Jiang Ning stopped and signaled that this ball did not count. Rumble. What does the referee mean? How to blow the whistle at this time? The goal is invalid. What's the situation? Why doesn't such a good ball count? What are you doing, referee? Will you award a penalty? Can it be called a World Cup goal? It won't be collecting money. Blowing a black whistle in front of so many people. 11. The whole field exploded. In particular, the Argentine fans were even more furious. The audience erupted into a roar of boos and dissatisfaction. Many people stood up and cursed loudly, angry. The football is clearly in. And there is no offside problem with corner kicks, why not count as a goal? The players of the agenting team were also stunned and found Jiang Ning. Jiang Ning stopped, and then motioned to the caddy on the sidelines. Ball boy? The fans were stunned for a moment. What does this referee find a caddy? The so-called caddies do not actually refer to children, but to the assistants of the stadium, who are responsible for providing new football to players after the football is out of the touchline, or after being kicked off, at a distance. This saves many players time picking up the ball, but Jiang Ning is looking for a caddy to ask for the ball at this time. Can it be said that there is a problem with football? Sure enough, after showing the 5.0 intention caddy, Jiang Ning took out the football in the net of the Mexico team. At this time, the football has dried up and completely cracked. The ball is bursting, was kicked by Messi, and it is precisely because the ball was kicked and exploded. Jiang Ning awarded the goal invalid, but for Jiang Ning's decision, obviously the fans of agenting on the scene are unacceptable. Referee, this is unreasonable. Although the ball exploded, it was just talking about the ball, wasn't it? Do you know how rare this ball is? If you say it doesn't count, it doesn't count? Is there something wrong with this referee? Although I don't want to doubt him, although I trusted this Huaxia referee before, now I have to question it. Protest. We ask the official to come out and give us an explanation. If the ball explodes to pieces, we accept the result, but the ball is in the net. For a time, about this ball penalty, it caused dissatisfaction with the on-site ball puzzle. At the same time, it has also aroused the discussion of countless fans.